Hello everyone, my name's Kevin Miller, and I'm going to do this in one take. The Berenstain Bears and the word explicit? Those are two ideas that don't belong together. Well, trust me, when it comes to me, they do. Let's get right into it. The Berenstain Bears and Too Much TV. Blasphemy, by Stan and Jan Berenstain, whose names totally aren't made up at all. It was a fine spring day in bear country, in a universe where bears had somehow developed a stream of consciousness that came with a side of superiority complex, and began to think themselves above other animals. Tired of shitting haplessly in the woods, the bears built houses and schools and a bunch of human stuff. Humans do not exist, which is probably why the environment looks so pretty in this world. See, it's pretty. On to the story. It was a fine spring day in bear country. The birds were singing because who gives a fuck? The trout were leaping because who gives a fuck? And except for one small cloud of dust billowing behind the school bus as it came over the hill, the air was sparkling clean because you guessed it, who gives a fuck? Mama Bear was inside the family's treehouse fixing brother and sister bear a snack, like a good sow should. The word sow is bear language, for bitch. Brother and sister bear got off the school bus and came into the kitchen with hardly a hello. Then they did what they did every day. They took their milk and cookies into the living room and switched on the TV. Ah, bears after my own heart, without trying to eat it. There's no question about it, thought Mama. Those cubs are watching too much TV. Now, Berenstain, the surname of the bear family, is spelled Berenstain. Berenstain. Not Berenstain or Steen as an EIN like a Jew. I believe this was done on purpose to avoid people making the connection between Mama Bear and a stereotypical Jewish mother, at least with the parts where she doesn't let anyone have any fun. Back to the story. Later, when Papa Bear came in from his shop, which is a nice way of saying he is a laborer, and joined brother and sister, Mama became even more convinced. There's absolutely no question about it. The whole bear family is watching too much TV. See? Jew. As was the case with the conception of her daughter, Mama Bear wasn't quite sure how this happened. Maybe it began when the old fuzzy pictured black and white set broke down, and they got a big new color set. Or maybe it started when Papa put the big antenna up on top of the treehouse and brought in pictures from all over bear country. Now keep in mind, this book was copyrighted in 1984, back when the world didn't exist because I wasn't alive yet. Just good information to have when thinking about how relevant this book will be to your children. I'm kidding, old kids' books will always be great. I just can't wait till they come out with modern stories like A Boy and His iPad. But however it had happened, one thing was sure. The bear family was spending more and more time watching television and less time with all the other things they might be doing instead. You know, like playing tag or coloring books or getting closer as a family and other boring 80s bullshit. The bear family had always had lively conversations around the dinner table, but not lately. Lately they just sat around and chewed. Because if there's one thing TV is known for, it's affecting conversations that don't take place in front of the TV. The cubs had all kinds of fun playing outdoors, but not anymore. They were too busy watching Nutty Bear and the Bear Stooges. Insinuating that the Nutty Professor and the Three Stooges rots your brain. Subtle. That evening after dinner, when brother and sister scampered in to turn on the TV, Mama stopped them and said her piece. We've been watching altogether too much television around here. Ugh. So condescending. Only condescending smartasses say television. That's like saying, hey, can we stop by the bank so I can use the automated teller machine? But Mama, said brother, Nutty Bear is coming on and we'll miss it. And the Bear Stooges, added sister. Apparently the only two shows on TV. Well, you'll just have to miss them, said Mama firmly. And furthermore, she added, you may as well get used to the idea, because there's not going to be any television around here for a whole motherfucking week. No TV for a week, said the shocked cubs. But Mama, that's worse than the Holocaust. Never mind the buts, said Papa, a phrase he had never uttered in his life. Your mother was absolutely right. Someone's getting laid tonight. There's a lot more to life than TV, like homework, for instance, and fresh air and sunshine, and exercise and shit. No TV for a week is an excellent idea. Now if you'll excuse me, there's some porn I want to watch. Just a moment, Papa, said Mama. No TV for a week means you too. What? Said Papa. You can't be serious. Then the house became covered with anus bread because shit had hit the fan. But Mama was very serious. What about the news? Protested Papa. I won't know what's going on in the world if I don't watch the TV news. Here, try this, said Mama. It's called the newspaper. Good old 80s sarcasm. On the weather, continued Papa. How will we know what the weather will be? Try this, said Mama. It's called putting your hand out the window to see if it's raining. Okay, was this book made before they figured out how to predict the weather? Because I can't put my fucking hand out the window and be like, oh, hey, cancel that camping trip next weekend. It's gonna rain. I can feel it. What are we supposed to do, just sit around and talk? Asked Brother. That'll be fine for starters, said Mama, settling comfortably into her bitch rocker. But it had been so long since the Bear family sat around and talked that they had sort of forgotten how. It really didn't matter, because pretty soon Papa fell asleep and snored so loud that they wouldn't have heard each other anyway. After school the next day, the cubs looked longingly at the TV, but Mama shooed them out to play. Brother's bike had a tire that needed pumping up, and Sister's trike needed a little oil. Oil! Give a 6-year-old oil and hope she doesn't drink it and shit flames the rest of the day. Well, Papa Bear works in the shop, so he's good with tools. Maybe he's taught her some things about laboring stuff. Fair point, still using that joke. The fact is, if everybody just Googled anything they had questions about, 80% of comedy would not exist. Hey, what's the deal with? Oh, that's the deal with it. Damn you, Google, you just ruined my ignorance. And while it seemed strange not watching television, it was fun riding bikes and trikes again. Sort of. Okay, look at this. Look at these action air currents. You see? Look, these action air currents right here. They're in little squiggly lines. That is the direction they're going. Who the fuck rides in like... No one. That's who. That's who rides like that. Nobody. That evening, the cubs worked on their homework, but it wasn't easy with that blank TV just sitting there, staring. Then Sister noticed an ad in Papa's newspaper, an ad for a TV special. Oh, Mama, she said, look, a special. Whoa, 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 Sister, you can't just call retarded kids specials. It's demeaning, said Papa Bear. No TV for a week means no TV for a week, answered Mama. And besides, Mother Nature has a much bigger special waiting for us. We're going to sit outside and watch the stars come out. Watch the stars come out, complained Sister. I don't know if I can stand the excitement, said Brother. Now look at that smug look on this little Sal's face. Nobody has stood up to her since the 40s, when she was in a camp with Nazis and other Jews, because remember, she's a Jew. You can't forget that aspect. It comes into play all the time in these books. But as they sat out under the great sky, a spell came over the bears. And it wasn't just Mama's Jew black magic. It was also big and beautiful. The bears stared at the sky. So far, not a single star. Look, cried Sister, something flying. Bats, said Papa, out for their breakfast of insects. Breakfast? asked Brother. Well, that's what I just fucking said, Brother, said Papa. I see a star, cried Sister. Stop crying, said Papa. Soon there were others. And after a while, the whole sky was full of stars. And it was very special. More special than any unfortunate children they'd seen in the newspaper. It was a sharper picture, too, and a much, much, much bigger screen. And a random-ass squirrel. The Bear family did all sorts of interesting things over the next few days, none of which Mama ever dressed up for. Yeah, she just wears that everywhere. They went shopping in the Bear Country Mall. Sister used her savings to buy a knitting spool and some yarn, because she's a trendy gal. Brother bought a cube puzzle. They did have to keep an eye on Papa, though. Okay, so they're the Bear family. These four right here, they're the Bear family. And they live in Bear Country. These people behind them, also bears, not related to them in any way, as far as we can tell. They can't all be bear families. The kids are named brother and sister. Maybe these people have kids. What are their names? They all go to bear school. You can't have a class full of 14 brother bears and 15 sister bears. Hey, brother bear, it's me, brother bear. Do you want to hang out with me and brother bear? Hey, brother bear, I really like this girl, sister bear, but there's this other girl, sister bear. Could you set me up with sister bear? Not my sister bear. That's disgusting. I guess the semantics of this world are just beyond me. When they were at the mall, the Cubs caught Papa in the TV store sneaking a look at a game show. God, look at those fucking tattletales. Another time he went downstairs in the middle of the night for a peek at the Late Late movie, which is like the Late movie, only later. But Mama and the Cubs stopped him just in time. The next evening, on the last day of their no-TV week, the Bear family was having a lively conversation at the dinner table. They all agreed that the week had been a success, but Brother had a question. Mama, he asked, what is it you don't like about TV? What do you have against it? And before you answer that, change your damn clothes. You look like a gay Dalmatian. Goodness, said Mama, I don't have anything against TV. I like it. What I'm against is the TV habit, sitting in front of it day after day like old stumps waiting for dry rot to set in. Speaking of dry rot, said Papa, I have to use the bathroom. Well, said Brother, tomorrow I'm going to get a whole bunch of snacks and watch TV all day. Me too, said Sister. Me too, said Papa from the bathroom. But the only one who did watch it all day was Papa. Brother got interested in his cube puzzle and finally solved it. Sister started knitting a rug on her knitting spool. Knitting a rug on top of a rug. That's like that movie. Not saying it. Finally, even Papa had enough and decided to bait his hook for some of those leaping trout, the ones from the beginning of the story that nobody gave a fuck about. Thanks for listening. See you next time.